Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We have a special guest on the line, and one of only two members that has ever smoked on the Breakfast Club, and he's smoking right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Snoop Dogg.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Snoop, what's the first? Do you pray first or smoke first when you get up in the morning? Okay.
I pray.
All right.
I pray that I can see another day and uplift some more spirits and some more souls. And I pray that the rest of my family is still alive when I'm alive, when I get up.
There you go.
Absolutely.
You've been having a very active coronavirus quarantine time.
Well, you know, Angela, you know how I get down. I follow the rules. I try to stay within the protocol of everything. And then at the same time, the minute they allow us to, to bend or to flex a little bit, I try to get out, get mines in, but get right back to the quarantine and make sure that I'm, following the guidelines so I'm not getting it, catching it, or spreading.
There you go. We see the very entertaining verses.
Without having to leave the house, too.
Well, everybody want to leave the house, but it's like you got to have the specific reason to leave the house. Like, I don't leave for nothing. Like, a few times I went out because I wanted to go low riding with the homies, right? Because I needed a breath of fresh air. And I felt like that was necessary because it was a gathering of a lot of spirits that felt like we was all trapped and we needed to see each other to know and understand that we got to go back. But when we get it right, we're going to be all the way right. But sometimes you need to talk to people instead of holding all that in. And that's our problem. We got a problem with holding it in and exploding on the wrong person as opposed to just being expressive.
You're not missing nothing, though, are you, Snoop? I mean, shit, you done did it all. Yeah. Home probably the best place for you at this point.
You know what? On some real talk, I be feeling like that because it's like, what else is there to do when it comes to, what I've done? And it's like, if it's not beneficial to my health or my wealth or my well-being, I really don't try to get involved.
Word.
We seen a very interesting versus battle the other night, very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, wasn't the battle supposed to be you and Busta at first? That's what I seen on all the when the first conversation was you and Busta. What happened with that? And was that ever supposed to happen?
Yeah, that was definitely supposed to happen, but we had some things that was preventing it from happening. We had things going on this side, things going on this side. It was like hard to happen, and it just was a lot going on. But for the most part, I really, me and Busta Rhymes, we really wanted that, like bad, like, because we love each other. We got great history together. We got stories of us being on the road together. So it was going to be a real positive celebration to show our music and our skills. But when that didn't happen, DMX was on his way to California already to work with Swiss Beats. So the idea came with, shoot, since X is coming his way, dog for dog.
Right.
And I was like, you know what, man, that sounds like a real showdown because I always had a love and a respect for X. And I remember when he was running the rap game for 2 years straight and how I had to take the back seat to him. So I felt like this would be a very interesting battle because I had the rap game in the palm of my hands at one time, and he did as well. And it would make for a great, celebratory situation because we both we goons and gangsters, but we respect each other.
Right.
Do you remember the first time you met X?
Yeah, man. It was at Javarga Square, man. At a concert I did way back in the days. And he reminded me. He reminded me because he told the story of how he created the song Get At Me, Dog.
Yeah, I heard you say it, yeah.
Exactly, and that kind of threw me off. It blew my mind because it's like you don't realize how much you influence the hip-hop world until somebody keeps it real and says that. There's been a lot of influences in my life. I came out giving it up for Slick Rick. On my first album, I told everybody, look, I'm finna do a remake of somebody's song in hip-hop, and this is considered biting at the time. That was considered biting if you did anybody's lyrics. But I chose to go out on a limb and say, I love him so much, I'm doing this record that him and Dougie Fresh did, and I'm going to do it on my album.
Why do you think people be so afraid just to give it up for other brothers, man? Like, we all know we got inspirations and influences and shit. Brothers like you are icons at this point. How can you not recognize that?
Well, a lot of us are taught to have that competitive nature about ourselves to where it's not cool to tell somebody that they better than you or they're greater than you. I don't have no problem with being the least amount in the room. Because if I'm the least amount in the room, that means there's some great people in here that's going to force me to step up my game. Mm-hmm. Like, since I came in the rap game, when we started Death Row Records, I wanted RBX and Corrupt and all these great MCs around me to challenge my penmanship. I wanted Tupac on Death Row to challenge my penmanship. I never had a problem welcoming, you know, scenarios where other rappers were better than me or had more skills than me or whatever they had more than me. It didn't bother me. That's why you see me on so many songs with so many different artists, because it's never competition. It's complimentary.
Now, when you're doing your verses and you look at all the lyrics, right? Because I'm, you know, we vibing, we watching you on TV, we singing the songs, but it's a different feeling now. When I got the kids running around, I'm like, yo, get out the room, because it almost felt like, damn, I didn't know Snoop said that back then. I didn't know DMX said that back then, but it was so natural. But now, growing up, it just seems a little, it's like, wow, I can't believe Snoop said that. I can't believe DMX did a song about that.
But you know what? That's the era that we come from. We were so blunt. We were so truthful. We were so honest. And all we knew was what we knew. And we stood on that. And that's what carried us to where we at now, to where we was always solidified with what we said and how we said it and why we said it. And we never backtracked on it. And I think the fans really enjoyed that. We found DMX 98, we found Snoop Doggy Dogg 92. And when you find those zones and those areas of being exactly in that time period, you give that off. And that's what people felt when they was watching this battle. They felt like, we ain't even counting no more. This feels so good. I'm just rocking out to every song that come on.
No, that's real. Cultural context matters. That's why I said all the woke motherfuckers, y'all stay over there while Snoop and DMX doing their shit, all right? Because when you let bitches ain't shit fly, I said, God damn, Snoop the realest nigga alive. And I saw all the woke people, especially the woke sisters, was vibing to it too.
They couldn't fake it because it's something about, if it feels good to you, it must be good for you. It ain't what we said. You understand, that matters. It's how we said it. And we said it in a manner to where it felt good. You was dancing to it, grooving to it, and it wasn't aimed at you, or you. It was just an expression that we had, and you caught it because you felt like that sometimes. Like DMX said, man, I play this record every time my baby mama, my fiance, every time she get on my nerves, I play this record right here. I'm like, man, because he knew all of the lyrics, and it threw me off. Like, when you're a rapper, you don't expect another rapper to know all your lyrics from 27 years ago.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, you look genuinely shocked. I didn't know what that was for. I didn't know if that was because it was DMX. Because I don't know if it was an East Coast thing. Like, damn. Because the East Coast people didn't like to give it up for the West Coast artists like that back then. But now I guess it's cool.
I think that's probably what it was, because I know when we dropped the Chronic album, we basically shook up the whole industry. And my mission was to impress the East Coast. I don't know what Dr. Dre's mission was, because he had already been in the music industry and he had a certain kind of feel towards New York, but he wasn't a bi-coastal type of producer, so he didn't have that in him. Me, I was a student of the game. All of the great MCs, producers in the world came from the East Coast, came from New York, the Mecca. So I wanted to make a stamp to where they would respect me, appreciate me, and love me, because every time I came to the Big Apple, if I seen an EPMD, a KRS-One, a LL Cool J, Kid Capri, whoever the fuck I seen, I made it a must to break through security and go tell them niggas, I love y'all, I fuck with y'all, I'm a fan. Even if I was bigger than them at the time, didn't give a fuck. I went and told them how much they meant to me. And that's why I felt like my relationships with some of these rappers on the East has always been solidified by me being genuine and saying, I love you, cuz. I love what you do. You're not a threat to me. I fuck with you.
It's funny because at that time, I never looked at it like that. When I was in college, I had a huge Doggy Style poster on my wall from the cover of Vibe magazine. And I remember people used to come in my room because I'm from New York. I went to school in Connecticut. And they'd be like, why you got this West Coast? Are you from the West Coast now? And I never thought, like, I just like the Dog Pound. I like Dr. Dre. I like Snoop Dogg. I never looked at it like, oh, I'm from the East Coast. I'm not supposed to like this. I just liked good music. I used to love the Lady of Rage and all of that.
I think it's a mentality that was pushed. New York ran hip hop for the longest time, and when they seen the grip slipping, you had to put some sort of, man, that ain't cool. They ain't hitting like us. But that just comes with the territory. It's like hip hop has always been aggressive. It ain't never been soft. So it's territorial. You know, whether it was the Bronx, whether it was Queens, whatever it was a territorial dispute for this thing called hip hop, that this is mine. So when it slid to the West and you had NWA and all them getting a piece of it, it was like, it didn't really hurt them too bad because they still had Public Enemy. But when Ice Cube went solo and came and got that East Coast sound, that like bridged the gap to where it's like, we need y'all like y'all need us. So let's stop with the nonsense, all that bi-coastal, let's work together. Then when Death Row came, it was like, damn, we ain't never heard it like that. maybe we need to go back to class and do a little bit of studying on what they doing. Because if you watch the next couple of albums that came out, they sounded sort of like Death Row. Samples, old school gangster shit. But that's what hip hop is about. We borrow from y'all, so it's only right for you to come back and borrow some sugar from me.
You spoke in the battle too, how you wrote for Dr. Dre. And so you wrote, but then you also let other people write for you. Which one do you prefer?
I like them both because I'll give you a great story. Me and the DOC, this is one of the greatest writers of hip hop. We're in here writing this song, struggling with this beat. We can't come up with shit. It's like the fourth day. Nigga, Dr. Dre fly, a nigga from New York into LA. We all in the studio. 30 minutes later, that nigga shit is done. He wrote Dre shit and my shit. And it was flawless. And me and DOC was like, well, looks like this nigga outstruck us on this one. So we're going to take the back seat and I'm going to accept it. And it was still Dre and it was Jay-Z and he wrote the whole fucking song.
Really?
Y'all probably didn't know that, huh?
No, I knew Jay wrote. I knew Jay wrote still. I didn't know he wrote the whole record.
I didn't know he wrote the whole
That nigga
record.
wrote my parts too. I didn't write nothing.
Really?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So it's like, we don't have that in us. We have whatever's best for the song. You get what I'm saying? Like if your pen can outstrike mine for the song, I'm not going to hate you. I'm going to commend you. And now I'm going to go back to the drawing board and try to outdo you. I feel like that's what this hip hop thing has been about. It's been about outdoing each other. Right.
Yeah. How was that session? Like, because that is such a West Coast beat. That's such a West Coast feel. Like when you think of West Coast music as a DJ, that's the first record, one of the first records you go to besides G-Thing. So how was that session, him writing on feeling like that West Coast?
Well, Jay-Z is a great writer to begin with for himself. So imagine him striking it for somebody that he truly loves and appreciates. So he loves Dr. Dre. That's what his pen showed you. That I can't write for you if I don't love you. I love everything about you. I know your get down, your tone, your delivery, the way you're supposed to say it and how you're supposed to say it. I know when Snoop's supposed to come in. I know when he's supposed to get out. Like that is great. Author, that's an author to me. Like he wrote a book with that song right there. That's one of Dr. Dre's best records.
Yeah, people was wondering why you didn't play it.
Because it's not my record and Jay-Z wrote it. I wouldn't have got a point if a New York nigga would have slid on that chat and been like, nah, Jay-Z wrote that. Fuck that.
Hey, Rob Markman did that. Somebody had said, why Snoop ain't play Still DRE? And Rob Markman from Genius was like, man, that's Hov record.
Goddamn right. Because if I was to go up against Hov, I think he would play that on me like, nigga, bang, nigga, bling. And I'd be like, oh, no, you cheating, cuz. You can't do that.
I remember there was a rumor back in the day that Hov was a sneaky Crip.
You know what? He got sly lines, you know what I'm saying? He be getting his little walk on with his literature, you know what I'm saying? We read between the lines, like we got lingo that he really identifies with us on some real slick Crip shit, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I gotta ask you this, even though the versus battle is a celebration, right, and you and DMX are cool, when you were doing the battle, are there certain rounds you felt like you didn't win?
Yeah.
I
felt like it was a couple of rounds because I just felt like, well, when I dropped Deep Cover, I thought I was strong right off the gate. Mm-hmm. And then a nigga hit me with a poem going into his shit about a drive-by. And the nigga said something about something. All you do is talk about a drive-by. And all you do is just drive by. Boom. And the music came on. I was like, damn, I lost that with the setup and the overhand right and the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? I go with shit like that. I go with style points. I go with how you set the song up, how emotional the song is, what's the feedback, what's the feel, and did the song make me get up? You get what I'm saying? If I'm going against you and your music got me singing your music and I'm dancing and rocking, you may get that point or I may lose half a point for being so into your shit. And that happened a couple of times because I can't deny it. I love DMX. That nigga shit is hot to death. And if you're a real nigga from the hood, some of that shit just gangsta Holy Ghost.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about you and X, man, we both love y'all spirit. Yeah. So it's like X music is great and you just love X and you root for X. Same thing with you, but that music, man, that stuff y'all was making, man, those are weapons of mass destruction. It's just different levels to me.
I think what we was doing, we was trying to, you got to look at what Dr. Dre was always up against. He was never like the greatest producer in the world when he was with NWA, and he was making the greatest music in the world, but they wasn't giving him that. So when he finally got a chance to get with Death Row Records and have a breath of fresh air, some new MCs and a new light, he was definitely gonna show his ass. And from that point on, I feel like Dr. Dre put his stake down as like, I'm the dopest producer in hip hop. I don't give a fuck where you from. You can't fuck with me. I can give you my track record and show you better than I could tell you. Everything I put out spent off something tremendous. And I started careers that ain't never died. So with that being said, we have a great list of producers, but they can't say that. You ain't put out a nigga from the West, a nigga from the Midwest, a nigga from the East, and all of them successful?
Yeah.
All of them had groups that spin off and became successful, and they all still doing good. Usually you have like one group, they'll break up, and that's it. It's never no long list of finding talent. Every time you come out, this nigga find jewels and he make Eminem, the great white hope. White rappers had zero respect in rap. Let's keep that 1,000. None. He has probably put Eminem in a position where he could be labeled as one of the top 10 rappers ever. I don't think so, but the game feels like he's top 10 lyricists and all that comes with it, but that's just because he's with Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre helped him find the best Eminem that he could find.
See, I feel like people like you, Snoop, keep people honest. Because I respect Eminem, and I can see why people would have him in his top 10, top 5. I personally don't. You've been around a long time. Why don't you have him in your top 10?
Because there's some niggas in the 80s that he can't fuck with.
Like who?
Like Rakim.
Yes, sir.
Like Big Daddy Kane.
Yes, sir.
Like KRS-One, like LL Cool J. Shall I go on?
I love this list. Yeah.
Like Ice Cube. You understand me? I ain't got no time to play with it. It is what it is. It's like, Cuz did that. He did that to the fullest. That's one of my teammates. That's one of my brothers. Mm-hmm. He did that. But when you talking about this hip hop shit that I can't live without, I can live without that.
Yeah, the 80s don't get the respect it deserves, and it's weird because the 80s bred superstars like yourself, like Biggie, like Wu-Tang Clan, like Nas. Like, I wonder why that 80s class don't get that respect when they talking about top 10s and top 5s and all that.
Well, when we came, we tried to take them out. That's why. But a lot of us gave them respect, and then a lot of us really wanted their spot. Just like now. What the little niggas do now to us? Y'all niggas ain't goats. We the OGs. We the goats. We this. So it's like, that's what the game is built about. Hip hop is a young man's game. It's not an old man's game. If you old and you playing it and you surviving, you got to know what the young niggas like so you can still dance around them.
All right, because you still work with a lot of young artists. We saw you just did the song with Blueface. Obviously, you and Wiz, are like that. And that is something that sometimes I feel like the older artists don't give the younger artists that either. Kind of that, I'm going to link up with you and lend you my expertise as well.
Well, a lot of us, when we get older, we start judging. We start judging based off of how hip-hop was when we made it. Oh, man, hip-hop had these elements when we made it. Now it got a different element. What you think the rappers in the 80s said when we came? They didn't really prefer us too much because we killed their hustle. They could only go to a gold chain and maybe a house and maybe a cameo in a movie. We took it to the level of owning shit, owning movies, putting out shit, producing, merchandise. And then we took it to a level where we had to stop. Now the young niggas got streaming. They got all kind of shit that we didn't have with Google and Alexa, and niggas can meet people it's just so many different ways. And if you slow, in my era, you lost. If you have no internet skills, no social skills, your ass is lost in the shuffle. This ain't a cassette game no more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely right.
And you've been rapping in Spanish. How fluent are you in Spanish?
Actually, I had my boy D Smoke write that for me. Yeah, let me stop lying early. Like D Smoke wrote that because I know Spanish. I can understand it and speak it poquito, but I needed a motherfucking nigga that can come in here and slang that motherfucker around and make me sound like Ricky Ricardo on this motherfucker. He had me right. He had me spitting all that shit. I swear to you. And when I finished with it, I was like, damn, I was so confident. And I played it back for the group and they loved it. And a bunch of women came to listen. And I swear to God, none of them had a problem with it. They all loved it, whether they spoke Spanish or not. And I was like, this is a hit record right here. And this is just adding to my repertoire of things that I've done that are different than a regular rapper. I got a gospel album. I got a reggae album. Now I got a song with one of the biggest groups in the Mexican culture. So it's like I got a song in Brazil, a song in Korea. Like I'm about trying to make music that touches people that want to be touched by the sound of Snoop Dogg.
Is that intentional, man? Because like you can go from bitches ain't shit to gospel music. Like, how do you think you've been able to change the content of your music constantly over the years and still keep respect and support of everybody, fans, artists? Like,
I think I let the music use me. I found the craft of being able to be used by the music. I don't make music just because. I make it when it's a void, when it's a non-void, when there's not a sound like Snoop Dogg or a message that I can drop or something that I can put out that feels like me. That's when I drop. I don't want to be congested in the game, sounding like everybody, looking like everybody. When I drop, it's for a purpose and it's for a reason. So when I got to the gospel record, my grandmother had passed away and she had never been able to listen to my music. And all her friends would, you know, let her know that your grandson is a big superstar. He makes great music. And she'd never heard my music. So I was like, what could I do to pay her tribute for the love that she had for me and what she taught me? So the gospel album came off of that. And I just started reaching out to all of the great gospel singers, telling them what the story was about. And we pulled it off. And we was #1 for like 10 weeks with that gospel album. And it was a great celebration of me giving back to my grandmother. And I know she's smiling down on me because I gave her something.
I see you got into the wine business.
I had to, man. You understand me stepping on grapes and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Talk about that. Are you a big wine drinker? What got you into wine?
You know what? The wine game is like a tone down. Like, you know, whenever I want to relax and not be bothered with what's going on in the world, and I just want to sit back and probably enjoy some jazz music or maybe a plate of spaghetti. You know what I'm saying? But something that's relaxing, that's not so stressful, and it's not so demanding on what has to be done, but what is not needed right now.
Gotcha.
man, Snoop, I laughed so damn hard when you posted that meme about Queen Jada Pinkett Smith bringing herself to the Red Table Talk when it said when Jada cheated on Will, it's like she cheated on all of us. Did you even hesitate to post that? Like, let me not be petty.
Fuck that. Fuck that. Teddy Riley to the table. Quit playing, Charlamagne. You know every moment we get to be motherfucking petty. Nigga, if you don't knock it off as much shit you be doing on the petty shit, nigga, I'm firing off every chance I get. You dragged me to the table and made me spill my heart out and pour my soul out. You now I need to get my get back.
They brought you to the principal's office, man. Red Table Talk.
Man, they had me triple teamed in there with the little sis, grandma, and her. I was like, man, this ain't gonna end well. I better fix my time. I'm not gonna leave here.
I love seeing people I love seeing you in a position like that too, because that's not normally the type of position or interview we see Snoop Dogg in.
But it takes a real man to go to that table,
Mm-hmm.
to know that you could be asked anything, to know that, you know, you're willing to be honest and you're willing to, you know, express yourself in a manner that people have never really seen because they so, you know, think of me as gangster and, you know, he gonna do it his way and he ain't changing his word and whatever he say is what it is. But I'm a real person. So if I'm wrong,
Right.
and if I feel I express myself in the wrong manner, I definitely want to clean it up and get an apology and let the person know that it was no ill will intent. You know what I'm saying? It just was an expression because I was reacting off of your reaction. So it was more of a overreaction.
Now, Snoop, last time you were up here, I think it was last August, or maybe even before that, you talked about the Kardashians, and you said the Kardashians, Travis Scott better get out, and Kanye West better get out. What did you know that the world didn't know at that time?
That movie Get Out has some similarities to that house.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like knock nobody or whatever, how they get down, but I'm just looking at the statistics of the men that come in and how they leave. And it just ain't right. Like, am I wrong for saying that? Like, no, because it's a fact. And it's like, I'm not picking on nobody. I'm just saying it's just something strange going on over there. I've been invited over there a couple of times. I ain't never went.
Mm-hmm.
Never?
Ever.
That says a lot though, Snoop, because you a person that, you know, you tend to kick it with a little bit of everybody.
And I'm cool with Chloe, my homegirl. I love Kendall. Kylie cool with me. I don't know the Courtney and Kim have like a you know, because I keep it real, so they kind of like this with me. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but And the moms is cool as hell with me. So I ain't got no issues with nobody in that house. I'm just giving you my perspective of it. Sure looks strange when a nigga leave that motherfucker. He don't come out the same way. It's like, you know, Superman when he go into that motherfucking in that phone booth. He go in as Clark Kent, but he come out as Superman.
Well, you know what, Snoop, you did get some backlash for being in the studio with Kanye, right? After you had.
Well, let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dre called me to the studio because Dr. Dre was producing Kanye's album. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. I may be spilling the beans, but I'm gonna clear this shit up. Dr. Dre called me to come get on the project that he was doing with Kanye. So I said, I'll do anything for you, Dr. Dre. When I get there, cuz is there. He playing me his shit. It's sounding good. The nigga mind sound like he right. He in the right spirit. He rapping his shit. The shit he saying is spiritual, is dope. And I'm telling him, nigga, you back. He like, I want to get you on something. No problem. Strike up. Put my thing down for the spirit. I'm going to give you that because it's hip-hop. And I was fucking with you before you went crazy. And it looked like you back to being normal again. So I'm going to give you that because my nigga Dr. Dre asked for it. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like when your mentor asks of you, you don't question that. Well, that's my trust with Dre.
Did that conversation ever come up with you and Kanye? Did any of that come up? Did you have to tell him how you feel about any of that shit he was doing?
Man, one thing about me and Kanye, we've been real since we've been real with each other. And certain things don't even need to be discussed. Like, that wasn't the moment or the time or the mode. He was happy to see me. I was happy to see him. And it was a brotherhood. It wasn't about what we did in the past. It was about let's move forward and try to, you know, get to what we had. And when I sized him up and seen his mental and what he was on and what he was spitting, I was like, he got his shit together. So I can get out with him. Because it's been times in the past where I've been asked to fuck with him. And I was like, I ain't fucking with him. So it wasn't like this was like, you know, the first call. This may have been like the 13th or the 14th call. And it was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and honor you, cuz, for you. Because in the beginning, it was for him. And it was like, I ain't doing that shit for him. The nigga had to use the twist. Like, well, nigga, do it for me. Fuck. All right, I'll do it. You know how your big brothers get.
Yeah, Pac was a Gemini, Kanye is a Gemini. Are there any similarities between them as artists and I guess people?
I think that work ethic, they both got that same kill instinct that in the studio, them niggas is killers. Like, I now that you said that, I feel a lot of Kanye is Tupac with his aggression and his energy. It's just Tupac knew how to aim it differently. Like, it used to be a time where Kanye was a perfectionist at telling stories and expressing what he felt. You know, whether it was about his mother, whether it was about Big Brother, about street shit, or life and gold diggers, whatever. He had a great way of saying it. Even the Jesus Walk, he had a great way of expressing himself. And then it just feels like now he's losing the message behind what is real and what's fake. Like, you got to really push what you're speaking on. And in the past, you really knew what you were speaking to. And you could be asked questions about it and you could answer intelligently. Now when a nigga asks you questions, his answer this nigga giving nowadays is like, damn, what fucking history book this nigga reading out of?
Now, you know what I wanted to ask you, Snoop? I was thinking about this because I've been watching Marriage Boot Camp. Have you been watching Corrupt on Marriage Boot Camp at all?
Sad. We tried to get him help, you know what I'm saying? But you got to want to help yourself. You know, we never turn our back on none of our brothers, but hopefully this show will show him that he need to get his shit together. And when you're dealing with friends and family, this shit happens. You know, abuse happens. You know, intervention is needed. But when you intervene, the person that needs the intervention has to want it more than you want it for them, or it's not gonna work. So with that being said, I watched the show, disappointed. Don't like how they got my nigga out there, but he a grown ass man. And I feel like this is gonna help him see what we've been trying to tell him for the past 3 years. Cuz, go get you some help. Cuz, go get your life right. Get off that bottle. Slow down. Get in the gym. Drink some water. You know what I'm saying? But when you're going through issues, you know, you lose your mother. You lose your son's baby mother. You get divorced. It's like a lot of shit that's going on in his head that we wasn't prepared for when we left Death Row Records. We wasn't taught a lot of this shit. And a lot of us started families and just had to figure it out. So you know, we praying for him. I love him to death, and I just want to see him get some help, and hopefully this television show can help him get some help.
You know,
Did he say it helped him at all since they finished? Like, is he on track, back on track, or?
It's crazy with him because he's a loner. He's the type of motherfucker that to go be by himself somewhere and we won't know where he at. You know what I'm saying? So it's real delicate, but no one understands. We own him and we got eyes on him and we got the prayer angels on him and we try to make sure that he understands that this is his life. It's only so much you can want for somebody. They got to want it for themselves.
It sounds like Corrupt got a lot of unresolved trauma that he probably needs therapy for. And, you know, I'm a praying man too, but I believe in therapy as well. Is therapy something you believe in, Snoop?
Definitely. That's a lot of issues in the Black communities that we don't admit that we have mental issues and we need therapy. We need conversation. We need expression. We need to be able to get off what we hold on to. And I said that earlier. We like to let shit build up and then we take it out on the wrong person. And that goes with therapy. If you have therapy, then you may be able to express and scream and yell at your therapist and get that shit out and go back home and have a basic conversation as opposed to arguing this shit all the time at home.
Have you ever sat down with a therapist?
A couple of times. I went to a marriage counselor before with me and my wife. You know, shit, I mean, this shit ain't easy, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to do things to keep the shit together. And sometimes it don't work with y'all conversation because you got your views, she got her views. You know, you was wrong, she was right, and you trying to make your wrong right. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody to step in the middle and be like, nigga, you was wrong as a motherfucker. You got to ABC.
I was going to ask you that during the pandemic, you've been driving your wife crazy? Or has the relationship got a lot stronger? Or is it one of those things like, because usually you're on the road every weekend. So, you know, it's a lot different when you're home 24 hours, 7 days a week.
But the thing is about me and her relationship, like we get down how we get down. Like she been with me from day one. So she know who I am, what I am, and how I get down. So we like a team as far as like the way we do things. It's team orientated. She got her little crew of friends. She like to roll with Monica. Monica is like her best friend. So her and Monica do things together and, you know, they girls. So I don't get involved with girl things. You know, I give her space and me and my homies, we may do our thing, but we find a common ground and meet up and to continue our relationship and to be family and to be wholesome. But a lot of times when you this far into a relationship, you got to have different outlets to keep the relationship together, different things to keep you in circle and have different friends who have the same values as you. Like when I was running with a bunch of players and pimps and niggas that didn't have relationships, it, you know, gave me temptation to want to dibble and dabble because they didn't have what I had. But when I started hanging out with niggas who had a wife and had to be home at a certain time, it made me restructure my thing as far as like, okay, I'm gonna build my whole facilities where everything can happen at one spot. My wife can be here, my kids can be here, and I don't have to go nowhere.
Yeah, I saw a video that Monica posted. I thought she was like a kid performing somewhere with your wife or at a showcase or something.
Yeah, they dogs. They got close when I was on No Limit Records. When Monica and C Murder was real close. They got real close as friends and they sisters. So and I love that. I love the fact that she has a female friend in the industry who can, you know what I'm saying, give her the ins and outs of how she gotta move, shake, rattle, and roll. And my wife is smart as a motherfucker. You gotta be a queen, a mental psychiatrist to be with me. And she's handled all that shit for this many years and all the shit I did right and wrong. She stayed by my side, got my back. Don't put out no bullshit. Don't, you know, try to match the negative shit that I done. Like that says a lot to be a, you know, a real black queen to stand up and to be, you know, down for it all.
Yeah, man, you've been a superstar for a long time, Snoop, and people think you just naturally cool. They think it's the weed. They say, man, Snoop always happy. I can look at Snoop and hear Snoop talk and tell Snoop did the work on himself. I can tell Snoop been to therapy. I can see you got God in your life. How did you get to that space? How did you not lose yourself in the industry?
I had it all taken away from me. You know, I was the dopest nigga in the world. My record came out Doggy Style. I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records. For the first debut artist to debut #1, all kind of little bullshit to come with it. You know what I'm saying? So I had all of that riding high, and then that shit was just taken away. You know what I'm saying? Just stripped, like nothing. I'm fighting for my life, a murder case. Then when I beat the murder case, my friend gets killed. The label falls apart. The label comes after me. I'm getting death threats. Niggas want my life. I have no money, no label, no friends. Some of the homies turned on me because they was paid off. So it was stripped. So I had to find myself then. Am I gonna go stupid gangster and kill up all of these niggas? Or am I gonna find me and get in tune with God and find my spirit and my real reason to be here? Why did I have a murder case and why did I beat the murder case? Why has God still got me here and others ain't here?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta use my moment to do God's work, no matter what it is. And if you look at the Bible and look at anything about God's word, real preachers stay in the streets. They don't be in the church. They be in the streets with the people, mixing it up, trying to get them people to get right. And I feel like my ministry has been turning gangsters into rappers. When I started rapping, didn't nobody want to rap. Everybody was gangbanging. Mm-hmm. But when I started rapping, gangbangers started rapping. And if you notice now, it's a lot of gangbangers that rap now.
Yeah.
And you'd rather them be rapping than gangbang.
You got to tell me about the first time you went to therapy and what made you go, man.
The first time I went to therapy was I was having anger issues. And I just wanted some help. I wanted to talk to somebody that wasn't my friend and wasn't a family member. And that wasn't, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't want to talk to nobody black. I wanted to get a different perspective on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that was racist by me saying it. I think it was just, I needed a different opinion and evaluation because I've been getting the same, nobody gives a fuck. He's Snoop Dogg, he's a star.
I did the same thing. I wanted to talk.
They'll excuse everything. A few dollars. You know, pay this off, buy this. I wanted somebody to tell me the truth on where I'm fucking up at, where I need to tighten up at, where am I leaking at, what is my spirit, what's my purpose? And to tune in with somebody who didn't know me and for me to just open myself up and say all the wrong and the shit that I did, it helped me find a way to just be honest. Instead of like hiding shit and faking it, fuck it, I'm just gonna be real.
That's real. Did you and Gayle King ever talk?
Never. And I reached out numerous times, put the invitation out, and I still got it open. So I don't want to put no pressure on her or stress her to do it, but whenever she's ready, I'm ready. It wasn't personal, it just was a reaction to my friend. Kobe Bryant was my friend, man. And at that time, I wasn't trying to hear nobody say nothing bad about him, and that's just that.
Now, Snoop, were you giving away a 64 Impala? I seen somewhere you giving away a car.
You better know it. You better know it. I'm giving it away. It's coming up real soon. And what's going to happen is, check this out, Evie. I'm going to start giving away cars like every 2 months because I got about 30 of them. And I feel like the fans have held me down for so long and they've always been supportive of me. And instead of me always taking from them, how about I give them something and give them an opportunity to win one of my cars and have that motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, be like, man, I got Snoop Dogg card, cuz, on some real shit. Imagine if Elvis and, you know, all the greats before me would have put their cars on display and niggas would be riding around in them right now.
Yeah.
That's dope. How's the cannabis business?
Business is soaring very high.
I feel like right now it's booming, especially.
Are you ready to join me, Angela Yee? Are you ready to smoke with me?
I'm nervous, but yes.
Don't quit being scared. I told you it ain't gonna be bad. Just go slow. I'm gonna make you do one, blow it out. One, blow it out, then we're gonna chill for like 10 minutes and see what that do, and then we go to 2 hits.
Hold on, I smoked with Wiz twice. I couldn't feel my legs.
See, he different. Wiz is a violator. He's gonna violate all smoking rules when it comes to a new booty. A new beginner, he gonna break you in like you've been smoking for years. I'm gonna walk you. I'm gonna put training wheels on the bike, at least let you learn how to ride with 3 wheels instead of starting you off with 2.
Now, Snoop, are you passing around during this COVID?
Nigga, what?
Just making sure.
You see what I'm doing right now?
Yes.
Yep.
It's the routine. The only nigga I pass it to is this nigga right here. Hey, how you doing? Good. See you here, my nigga. There you go. Hey, that ain't my nigga.
What happened to your store, Snoop? Wasn't you opening up a storefront called Snoop Dogg?
Yes, it's coming. It's right across the street from the stadium with a Rams, that new stadium they built for the Rams. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put that out there right now. I think I want to wait until, you know, civilization get back to being civilized. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we slanging it online right now. You can buy products online on SnoopDogg.com or, you know, the snoopermarket.com. You can get that. But the store is amazing. It's tremendous the way it's built, the look, and it's directly across the street from the stadium. I just feel like I want to make sure it's the right time and the right look and the right everything. And by the way, I just put Carl Kanye on my team. He's one of the, members on my squad, making sure that my store and my look comes off right, because he's an OG at this shit.
Yeah, I mean, you such a Los Angeles landmark, man. I feel like you need to have a destination location when people come to LA. Nipsey used to always talk about, God bless the dead, Nipsey used to always talk about they should have like a Snoop land, like a amusement park.
He did. He used to always tell me that shit, man. Like, you need to put together a motherfucking doggy land, cuz, where they got 40-ounce roller coasters and all kind of hood shit in there. They selling house shoes. And I'm like, cuz, I don't get it. But when y'all come to LA, y'all got to come to my facility, the compound, where we did the versus battle. I think I have my doggy land.
It's like an amusement park there?
Nigga, it's hard to explain. Ask Swiss Beat, ask any nigga that's ever been up in here. Matter of fact, DMX been in here recording his record for the past 3-4 days.
I heard your compound is crazy. Somebody told me your compound was crazy. It was like a big
This
place.
motherfucker's different, man. Next time you come do one of them real estate things out here, Envy, slide by this motherfucker. Quit doing real estate without coming looking at mine.
I definitely, my partner was there. I think my partner came over there with your son. He was like, it's crazy. He came back.
Did.
Like,
He turned my son out. My son got me giving him money for real estate. I'm like, hold on, nigga, wait a minute. You buying real estate in another state. Hold on, nigga, what about this state?
You know what's so interesting, Snoop, man? You've been close to so many icons that have met early demises. Do you ever get numb to it? Or is it always like, what the fuck every time you hear it?
You can't get numb to it. Man, life is beautiful, but it has an end. And that's why we try to have those great moments, so when it do end, you can reflect back. And I'm honored and blessed to say that the icons that have passed, that I've had a relationship with, we had fun times. We had great times. And it's documented, and it's pictures, and it's moments, and it's shit that reminds me of how much I love that person, and that person loved me. And anytime you can keep that spirit alive, God don't make no mistakes. He took his angel home early. And we're going to have to go home soon. So when it's our time to go home, make sure you're ready.
That picture of Kobe, God bless the dead, with the red eyes. Is that a real picture? Or was that Photoshop? Or did you make
Charlamagne, hear no evil, see no evil. Kobe not here to defend himself. You hear me?
Got you.
We're gonna let that ride. That's for 824, because we do it 24/8 around here. You hear me?
Earlier we were talking about how you've done pretty much everything and done so much. So what is there left for Snoop to do? Like, what is still on your bucket list? Anything?
Yeah, well, right now, for the past 3 years, I've been working with the special stars, special needs kids. So we got the Snoop Special Stars. Y'all know I got my football league, Snoop's Youth Football League. We got kids in the NFL, college, high school doing their thing. But we started the Snoop Special Stars about 3 years ago to deal with special needs kids. And I tell you, this is some of the most beautiful shit you'd ever want to see in your life. To see a special needs kid come out there and be very, very bashful, and their parents like shy and don't want to really, my son, something's wrong with him. And then all of a sudden we get to coaching him and playing with him and talking to him and visiting him in time. And then before you know it, that kid comes out their shell and they dancing, having a good time and celebrating. They doing things that normal kids do. And it puts a smile on the parents' face that they can say, my baby ain't had this much fun in 10 years. And then we got people in the league that we have older people in the league. It's not just for kids, it's Snoop Special Stars. So we had a banquet that we did where we made them all dress up and we gave them all awards. Everybody got an award. So we had a particular part of the show. We brought a guy named Tommy the Clown, who's a dancer out here. He came in dancing, and it was one guy, a 77-year-old man, and he got up and he was dancing, and the dancing was over and he still was dancing. And they was trying to make him sit down. And I had the mic. I said, nah, leave him alone. Let him dance. And when the night was over, his wife came to me and she said, baby, my husband ain't got up and danced in over 30 years.
Wow.
You have touched his spirit. And I swear to God, I started crying. It was so deep that what we doing, and it's no cameras on it. It's not for credit. It's not for notoriety. It's to put the spirit back into the community of the special needs. Because people forget about them. And we all got one in our family. And we all try to act like it ain't what it ain't. But we found a way to give them the real love.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of times, man, they just want to be treated like everybody else. Like they
But how do you know how when there's no tutelage and no information? If you're born with an artistic kid, they don't give you no handbook on what to do. You just got to raise them and deal with the screaming and hollering and whatever disabilities they have. You got to deal with that, and you don't have no information on how to deal with it. So we found coaches and teachers and people who come from that world who know how to talk to them, who know how to reason with them, who know how to, because it's just dialogue. It's patience. That's all it is.
Have you ever had one of the special needs kids ask you to hit the weed?
No, but one of the little niggas, these niggas is crazy too. One of the little niggas like, hey, nigga about 9 years old, hey, what's up with you and Suge Knight? That nigga still on your head? I'm like, nigga, what the fuck is you talking about? You supposed to be special needs and you ask me some shit like that. Get your ass out of this class, nigga. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
Hey, Snoop, I'm glad that you're gonna be on that No Limit doc too, man, because I feel like that's a part of your life that doesn't get told enough.
Man, do you realize that saved my life? Like Master P saved my life. I was gonna put an album out called Fuck Death Row. And Mac 10 was gonna give me $1 million to put it out. It was gonna be on Who Bangin' Records.
No.
And Who Bangin' Records and No Limit Records was all up under Priority Records and Ice Cube label. So I would go up there to see Mac 10. And when I would go up there, I would have to pass by Master P's No Limit shit to get to Mac 10. I passed by one day, Mystical in there. And I don't even know Cub, but I know his music. He like, what's up? I'm like, what's up, nigga? I fuck with you, nigga. I fuck with you, nigga. We gonna be at the studio tonight, nigga. Come by. All right, cool. I come by the studio. Get on the song. Master P like, how much you want for the song? In my mind, I'm like, shit, I'm broke right now. I ain't getting no money. Nigga, give me 15. But I'm thinking like 1,500. Cause I just need something. I come back the next day, Master P wrote me a check for 35,000. So I'm like, oh, I like this nigga's style. You know what I'm saying? So now he called me to his office. He said, what you working on? I said, I got this album called Fuck Death Row. This motherfucker hard. He like, hold on, bro. He closed the door. That nigga like, man, you ain't gonna live to see that album come out. He said, don't do that, bro. You can't make no record talking about Death Row and Suge, man. You gotta let that shit go, man. He said, let me make an offer to you. Let me make a proposal to you. And my own boy, Marvin Watkins, rest in peace, was the middleman to this. And him and Marvin put together a play that sounded good. And the nigga flew me to New Orleans. And when I took my father, my cousin, Daz, and I think I took one more person with me. And this nigga drove me around the neighborhood and said, pick any house you want. And at that time, I was living in a house that was under Suge Knight's name. All my cars under Suge Knight's name. So for a nigga to show me, damn, you could have your own sign on the dotted line, I had to say, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going with this nigga. So he was like, nigga, if you sign with me, you got to come down to New Orleans. You can't be out here. You and your whole family got to come down here. So I came, picked the house out, picked out a car for my wife, a car for me, got the house furnished, flew my wife and my kids to New Orleans, and 3 years later, nigga, I did that.
Hold on, I got so many questions, man. First of all, why would Mac 10 want you to do that? Like Mac 10 know that would have caused so much trouble in LA.
Well, at that time, we didn't give a fuck. You got to remember who we was.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So this is what LA was at that time. Like, nigga, you can't come at me, nigga. Don't think I ain't finna come back. And I had to have some allies. I had to get with a nigga that was a blood, that had a strong gang backing him, because Suge Knight had money and was paying niggas off. So it was like I had to even the playing field in my mind, which was stupid because it was mass destruction. And thank God for Master P and No Limit and my spirit of understanding to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to let it go. Whatever they trying to do to me, they can try to do to me. I'm going to No Limit Records.
What happened to that album?
What happened to who?
The home.
Like the songs on it.
I don't know. Some of them, you know, I used to live in a house. And when I moved out the house, I think some of that shit was just left there. Like I tried to like, when I went to No Limit, I bought a new studio, new everything, new car, new furniture, like all that shit in LA, I didn't give a fuck about none of that shit. So I wasn't really like on that. I went to go make South music. I was on some No Limit shit. Them niggas had a nigga in the studio every day. It was 100 fucking artists and 5 producers, and it was like a fucking production making cars. It was no time off. The ice cream shop was a little ass building inside of a bank, but it was constant music production. And it's like over there, shit, you better hurry up, nigga. You may not make the album that's coming out in 2 weeks, or you may not get on the song that's gonna be on here. So it's like, it taught me a different work ethic. To me, Tupac prepared me for No Limit.
So the whole project was a diss record? The whole Fuck Death Row? Like, so it was aimed at, I'm assuming, Suge, and who else would it be aimed at?
Whoever was over there with him.
Damn.
All of them.
All of the AK-47 shots. Lay everything. Grandma in the house, she get it too.
And why did Interscope let you? I don't understand it, because you were such a big artist. Like, Interscope didn't just let you go to Priority, right? Or was that all the same building?
No, that's not the same building.
Okay.
Basically, I feel Interscope didn't want that issue.
Right.
That Suge Knight issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, he was a goon too.
Right.
Nigga, you owe me. Nigga, that's my artist. You know, he was one of them. And I don't think they wanted that pressure, because remember, Dre had left and went there. So and that was like not a clean break, and Dre left with nothing.
Right.
And he still had shit to say about it. Nigga, he left with you everything. Even me. Like, come on, man. So like, you know, certain things we had to leave behind in order to move forward. If you carry all that baggage, you're gonna carry that baggage to your next relationship. And I was trying to have a new clear head. I got some new friends. These niggas looked at me like LeBron James coming to the Miami Heat. That's what No Limit looked at me as, like I was an all-star player. But in my mind, they was winning at the time. So I was just only adding to what they was already doing, but giving them a bigger presence. But that pen over there, them niggas was striking. Nigga, Mystical and C Murder and stuff, them niggas was writing.
X
It wasn't no punk
so
shit.
hard.
It wasn't no punk shit going on over there, nigga. It was like they was really challenging the nigga over there. Mia X was so fucking hard.
Yes,
Her and Rage was the hardest females I ever rapped with.
Now, what made you comfortable to leave New Orleans and say, now I can go back to LA? What made you want to go back to LA and leave New Orleans? When everything was so perfect for you in New Orleans, you had everything, you had your crew. What made you go back to LA?
My first album, everything was beautiful. I shot a movie. The record did double platinum. We was on tours. We was eating. Everything was beautiful. Second album, No Limit Top Dog. I started double dutching back to LA, calling on my LA producers more, and then going sneaking back, getting a song from this nigga and a song from this nigga, just testing my feet out. The third record, The Last Meal, that's why I call it The Last Meal, because it's the last time motherfuckers was gonna eat off of me. So my mission was to go back to LA on the last album, and by the grace of God, Dr. Dre was working on The Chronic 2001.
Wow.
Dr. Dre had just found a white boy named Eminem. I was on my last album. Dre liked it, the shit I had on my album, and he normally don't like my shit when it ain't his shit. Mm-hmm. And that nigga mixed the whole album, No Limit. I mean, he mixed the whole album, The Last Meal. And me and him got our groove back, and I was like, man, No Limit got my spirit back, but that's the nigga I need to be in the car with. And Master P, at the third album, he was like, you can do what the fuck you want to do. You can go start your own label, do your... And I was like, nigga, you the realest nigga I ever met, cuz. Because anybody else would have been like, nigga, you know I'm finna get 10% override of everything you do from here on out, because I put you back in the game. That nigga didn't want nothing from me. Let me get back with Dre. We did the motherfucking Chronic 2001. Eminem album came out. The Eastsiders album came out. We went on the Up and Smoke tour. Everything was back in pocket. It was like, come on, man. You know what that shit felt like when that thing came out.
Oh, yeah.
And we was back reloaded.
How did you go, like you said you was broke. How'd you go broke after Doggy Style?
How about all the money was being given to me? It wasn't like a nigga was going to his mailbox getting checks. It was like shit was being dispersed. I was a young artist. Mm-hmm. So at that time, labels would give you money. You know, independent labels like Death Row would, you know, $50,000 a month. $50,000 a month. Nigga, $50,000 a month was big to me. Mm-hmm. Not knowing that these niggas getting $300,000-400,000 a month off of me, but then I'm fighting a murder case, so they got to take those finances to fight the case and discoveries and evidence and this and that and that and that and this and shit that I don't know about. You get what I'm saying?
So all of that from you.
Yeah, and I can't dispute it. Like, you niggas fighting for my life. What I look like telling my lawyer, hey, man, they stealing money from me. Nigga, they trying to get my life back. Whatever the fuck they taking from me, they can have. If I get my freedom back, if I strike the way I strike, we get it back.
Right. Wow.
Listen.
Well, Uncle Snoop, we appreciate you for joining us this morning. And so many gems, man.
You can sit there and talk to Snoop forever.
Word, man.
Y'all know I'm a big fan of the Breakfast Club. I asked to be on this motherfucking show. Y'all wasn't looking for me. I was looking for y'all.
So next time we get in person, we'll smoke together. I'll take 2 puffs.
1. You got to get to 2.
You right, 1.
Now, I just want to always salute you, Snoop, man, because you are an icon in this game, man. And you know, I don't like celebrating people after they're gone. I want to celebrate them while you're here because, you know, just for you to still be walking amongst us, a living legend for real, nigga. It's like looking at Bigfoot, a Loch Ness monster. It's like, damn, that's Snoop Dogg.
That's right.
Hey, man, I treasure those moments that I could give people that add on to this legacy. But I'm just doing God's work, and I'm here to do what I'm supposed to do. I found out how to master me, man. How to just be a fun, loving, caring guy and be real at all times.
All right. Well, thank you, Uncle Snoop. We love you.
Snoop D-O-double-G.
Breakfast Club, Snoop Dogg.
In the morning, baby.